I always wanted to start a podcast, and that was my intention when I bought my microphone like a year and a half to like 2 years ago, but I never actually went through with it. But due to recent events, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna jump right in. It's like midnight on Sunday, and I should be sleeping, but I figured, let's jump right in and record the first episode. I was testing my microphone, trying to get my settings right. It's going to be hard because I'm a Saturn dominant person, which means I like to have structure. And this first episode will not be very structured, but I'm just testing it out. I honestly don't even know what I want my podcast to be about. I did want it to be about astrology, like teaching astrology, because I love astrology. I love talking about astrology. I love when people ask me questions about astrology. And it's so interesting. So I probably will incorporate some astrology into my podcast, but I'm also on my healing journey right now, so I'll probably also talk a little bit about that in comparison to the current transits I'm experiencing. So like right now, just looking at my chart, I know I'm going through it. Like anyone that looks at my chart with the transits, if they are seasoned in astrology, they can tell that I'm going through it right now. To give you a little idea, I'm in Aries rising, so Saturn is in Pisces right now, and I'm a Pisces sun. Being an Aries rising means my sun is in my 12th house. My sun is at 3 degrees and 24 minutes of Pisces, and currently Saturn is at 5 degrees and 18 minutes retrograde in Pisces, which means Saturn is coming back towards my sun. Saturn transiting the 12th house is normally a serious, heavy period of time where you have to clean out your life carefully. It's a time where you need to let go of baggage and the things in life that hold you back. Although it's not easy to face your issues during a Saturn through the 12th house transit, you have to do it, otherwise Daddy Saturn will have to teach you a lesson about it. When Saturn transits the 12th house, they also say it's a great time to start therapy. And I'm actually starting therapy this week, so that should be good. I haven't gone to therapy since I was like 14, but it's very necessary, right? Since I'm also a Pisces sun, that means Saturn is close to my sun right now, which is usually a good time for beginning new projects that are long-term, which is one of the reasons when I looked at my chart, I figured it was a good time to start my podcast. Another transit that made me believe that it is a good time to start is because Pluto is on my North Node, and Pluto is about power and control, and the North Node is about, where you're going in life and what your purpose is. And I feel that maybe I can help people in a way just by sharing my experience with my transits and my healing journey. And when I saw that, I was like, this is the perfect time to start this podcast, and I'm going to do it. When Pluto's conjunct your North Node, it has a lot to do with digging beneath the surface to find out who you really are and discover your true path. And it's a time where you are going to release things in your life, like relationships, and parts of your personality are dying off when Pluto is transiting your North Node. When Pluto transits the North Node, it's like being given a chance to be reborn. It's a powerful rebirth process to help you fulfill your destiny. Another transit I'm experiencing is Chiron is transiting my first house. When Chiron transits your first house, it's an opportunity for healing and wanting to grow as a person. But a downside is you also feel your wounds more deeply during this time. So it's always good to guard yourself well, or you could be wounded. And that's quite literally what happened to me recently. And just knowing that Chiron's in my first house and it's a time for healing just reassures me that I'm doing the right thing right now and this is the perfect time to be doing it. Another transit, yes, yet another transit I'm experiencing. Just recently on July 17, 2023, the North and South nodes moved. They shifted from the Taurus-Scorpio axis to the Aries-Libra axis. So as an Aries rising, and that means Aries rules my first house, that means Libra rules my seventh house. The first house is the self, and the seventh house is the house of relationships. And my relationship did end in July, and now going back to my first house, I'm working on myself. Anytime the nodes enter a house and we get into eclipse season, it always indicates major beginnings and major endings. So things will end and begin during those times. And obviously, as someone that studies astrology, when I start dating someone or talking to someone on that level, I ask for their birth time. Obviously, I'm the girl that your mother's warned you about. The girl that your mother told you to stay away from. But I ask for their birth time and I check the chart to see the compatibility. And not only did the person have so many red flags from the beginning that I decided to wear my rose-colored glasses so they didn't look like red flags, but looking at the synastry between us, I should have known. I did know, but I'm like, well, astrology is a tool. Just because it's in the chart doesn't mean it has to be that way. I can fix it. I can redirect the energy. But the energy here is just too much. Just too much. It's karmic all around. There's so many karmic aspects in this synastry chart. It's scary. So, a little note to self. If you are checking the synastry chart between you and another person, if you have outer planets on top of the other person's personal planets, my advice is to run. In this synastry chart, their Saturn was on top of my sun. Their rising sign was on top of my south node, which indicates a past life. There was a past life connection somewhere, and this was a karmic relationship where we were both to learn a lesson. And it's really early on now after the breakup, but I've learned a lot. Another karmic indicator in the chart is their north node is on top of my Pluto. Karmic relationships are basically relationships that keep happening in every lifetime because of unfinished business. Basically, a lesson needs to be learned, and if you don't learn it, you get back together in another life. But once the lesson is learned, there is a separation, but the separation is normally very, very bad. And at first, when we broke up, it wasn't so bad. we have to be friendly because we have a child. But then I just knew this isn't the way it's going to end. This is not the end yet. This isn't bad enough. From what I saw in this chart, I was like, something else is coming. And then I look at the transits, and Saturn is on top of my sun in the transit, just like it was in the synastry. I knew that bad ending was coming up quick. And I'm still in the ending right now. It's still ongoing. And yeah, it's just really hard, but I'm happy to be starting therapy next week. Hopefully get some tips and tricks on how I can get this healing process off the ground. But I guess that's enough for the first episode. I can get into more detail and more into the charts on the next episode, but I did start this episode at 12 a.m. and now it's 1:43 after some messing around. So I'm going to call it a night and upload this. And hopefully you guys tune in next time. Thanks for listening to my rambling. That's my Gemini moon for you. Again, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out my website, cosmicastronaut.com. That's COSMICASTRONAT.com. You can check out the different chart interpretations I offer, and you can place an order for your own chart interpretation. My Instagram is cosmic.astronaut, as well as Twitter. And my personal Instagram is nat__zombie. That's NAT__ZOMBIE. Thanks. Chat next time.